sloppy copies. Division, sloppy copies.
This is Terrence Cox, and I would like to say thank you to all of the people that have supported Minority Youth Matter Movement and clergy for Minority Youth Matter Movement. I want to say thank you to everybody who in these past months and years have helped and guided and given me so very much in the motorsport experience. And for that I am truly, truly grateful and terribly, terribly happy. We do not or conquer anyone in the world of motorsports. We simply want our kids and our families to have the same opportunities as those that are white in NASCAR and Indy. For our $1.3 billion a year that we spend in this country on products and service, the sponsors of the motorsport has turned their back on these young kids, and they are stifling the minds of these kids, and that is truly sad. I should like to help everybody and every kid if possible, regardless if he or she is Jew, Gentile, black man, or white. Human beings by nature are like that. I would like to help one another because human beings are like that. As human beings, we must learn to live by the happiness of our kids, not by the misery they feel because of segregation and discrimination in the world of motorsport. You cannot hate or despise a culture of people simply because their kids are cheerleaders for a sport that they cannot even play in. Greed. The white privilege greed has poisoned the mind, the body, and the soul of men for 69 years in NASCAR. They have poisoned the mind, body, and soul for 71 years in IndyCar. And they have simply barricaded the sport with discrimination, prejudice, and a platform for racism to grow. Even the CEOs, they take our money. They participate in the white privilege systematic system. In America, the greatest country on earth, when you combine those two motorsports industries, they've had 141 years that they have never been one black team owner and have only been 4 drivers in 141 years. This is a platform in which sponsorship dollars support this racism white attitude in motorsport action towards kids of colors. NASCAR and Indy and the sponsors' knowledge has made them so cynical towards black races, black kids in the black community in motorsport. Their cleverness has made them unkind to the feeling of black kids. They think too much about the dollar and they feel too little about children and humanity. More than motorsport arrogance and nepotism, we need the love of humanity for all people. More than motorsport sponsorship cleverness to goose step our children of color. Opportunities we need to open up the hearts. We need to be kinder. We must be more gentle towards mankind. Without these qualities in motorsport, NASCAR, Indy will have no peace. The internet and the media has brought worlds and cultures closer together and created young minds that are changing the world, but black minds are not involved. No part do they play. The opportunity is not there, but it has only been 141 years. How many more years do you need to engage these kids of color? By the very nature of these, the greatest inventions on earth cries out for the goodness in man. It cries out for the universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even though my voice will be reaching millions throughout the country and throughout the world, but yet there are millions of despairing parents and children. Victims of a system that has amputated the mind of young black kids and has imprisoned the innocence dreams of these young black kids and a prosthetic leg is not a cure for the damage to a young mind and his young soul. To those team owners that can hear my voice, I say do not despair. Team Penske, Roush Fenway, Joe Gibbs Racing, Chip Ganassi Racing, Andretti Motorsports, Stewart, Hendricks, the misery and the bitterness that you now place upon these young kids in motorsports at your hand is but a passing moment. We have made you and your family very wealthy off the labels of black families, but yet you do not open the door. Your greed and your selfishness and the white privilege mindset. We can only think that you feel the way of black human progress. To NASCAR and Indy sponsors, Monster Drink, Xfinity, Camping World, Verizon, Mernard, Coke, M&M, Sherman, Williams, and Goodyear and Firestone. To the car manufacturers, General Motors, Ford, Toyotas, and Honda. Each of you all are as guilty of this level of injustice and systematic discrimination towards blacks and their family than anyone. You all the manufacturers that drive the sport. You are the engine that drive the sport, and you allow this form of injustice to rest on the backs of black families and their kids. Your souls should be ashamed. Martin Luther King once said, injustice anywhere is a threat to injustice everywhere. General Motors helped bail you out of trouble when your back was against the wall. Ford, the minorities have made the F-150 brand and the Lincoln brand a landmark in this country off of the labor of our money. Toyota, we generate 18% of all of your gross revenue, black people, not including Spanish. You all have allowed NASCAR and Indy to monopolize the motorsport industry where we as a race of black people or people of color cannot even participate. This is a level of injustice that has been going on for 141 years, and then you all think that this is normal when we get upset. If our kids don't matter, our money does not matter. We generate $1.3 trillion in this country, and in this country where we live today, this week, there is not one black in Indy or one black in NASCAR participating. You took money from the governor in the state of New York to help out with your track, as well as the state of Arizona, as well as the state of Virginia. They're giving you taxpayers' money, and a black cannot even participate in the world of motorsport. The white privilege is so strong in America to all these black kids that marched up on the Minority Youth Matter movement, they don't even have a Twitter or Instagram. But now, if that was a young 14, 15-year-old black girl with a G-string twerking her behind, it's all right to let them keep their Twitter and Instagram. You can buy all the drugs you want on Instagram and on Twitter. You can buy all the whores you want. But you all are shutting down these black kids on Instagram and on the Twitter account. If these young black guys were out here, if they were holding a gun and twisting a blunt up, you don't have a problem with that. You ought to be ashamed, CEO of Twitter and CEO of Instagram, to allow NASCAR to keep coming to you, shutting these kids out of what is standard here in America. They say we live in a world that is just, and the world that we live in may be just, but in the world of motorsport, it is 100% white privilege. I and Minority Youth Matter movement, we're going to fight this thing to the end. And the thing about the justice system, the scale is not always equal. But when we want our court in date, we want our date in the courtroom. You let the 12 juries, if they say, Mr. Cox, we've had 141 years and only 4 blacks, okay, if 12 juries tell me that that's all right after we generate half of the money, so be it. I will walk away. You cannot tell me from the womb of a black woman comes a child because that child is a different color or the texture of that child here, that he or she is not smart enough to get in a car, and the most uneducated people in any sport is in the sport of NASCAR, in the sport of Indy. Okay. Once again, my name is Terrence Cox. These are inserts from Amy Walker, Martin Luther King, Charlie Chapman, and Audrey Hepburn. And I thank you so much. Oh, and this was brought to you out of all the people out here that has the media has been holding us back. This was brought to you by Sloppy Copies, okay, out of Philadelphia, and they're going worldwide. No matter where you go, you're going to see that name right there. And these were one of the first people that I allowed to be interviewed, because when I met them, they called me and say, Terrence, you have a story. USA Today, they wouldn't do it. Wall Street Journal wouldn't do it. Everybody's running from this story because this is simple white privilege. They hold all the money. But Sloppy Copy, you all came through. You all will forever have my love. And as I move forward in the world of motorsport, you all will be at that track sharing the story. And I appreciate that. And once again, all the kids all over the nation from Minority Youth Minority Movement, I want to thank you, and all the clergies all over the country. If our money is not good enough, sponsors, our kids are not good enough. If our kids are not good enough, our money is not good enough. I am Terrence Cox, and I will fight to the end. Once again, all you all from Sloppy Copy around the nation, nothing but love for you.